What's up, guys and gals? We're back with part 2 of Lost in Dinosaur World. All right, so where we were last off was Tim was lost. The radio wasn't working that well, and he was trying to find his way back to the train. And there might be an allosaur coming around. From the safety of the train, it had all been so different. But now Dinosaur World seemed mysterious, strange, perhaps even dangerous. He came to a place where the trees arched over the tracks, making a dim green tunnel. He made his way quietly and cautiously, but when the bushes next to him started shaking violently, he yelled, "Yikes!" And when he heard a high, loud squeal, he ran and hid behind a giant tree fern. The bushes shook some more, and then out walked the strangest dinosaur Tim had ever seen. He was little, not any taller than Tim. His stout, round body was colored in green and orange patches, and he waddled on strong hind legs, using his tail for balance. But the strangest thing about the little dinosaur was his head. He had a flat yellow beak like a duck, big round eyes, and a weird tube, or horn, which curved back over his head about 2 feet. The radio came to life with a crackle. Zzz, it's a baby parasaur. Oh man, this is a big word. I'm going to look. There's a pronunciation key on this chart here, and that word is Parasaurolophus. Parasaurolophus. That's a mouthful. So there is a Parasaurolophus. Where was I? Am I on the right page? Oh, here we go. Oopsie doopsie. Parasaurolophus. I lost my page, folks. Oh no, I don't like when that happens. The guy born him. Okay. Why can't I find this? You'd think I'd be able to find the big word like Parasaurolophus. He made his way cautiously burning. Yikes! And he heard a high, loud squeal as he ran and hid behind a giant tree fern. The bushes shook some more, and then out walked the strangest dinosaur Tim had ever seen. He was little, not any taller than Tim. His stout, round body was colored in green and orange patches, and he waddled on strong hind legs using his... Oh, here we go. So this is the Parasaurolophus. He had a beak like a duck, big round eyes, weird tube or horn, which curved back over his head about 2 feet. Zzz, it's a baby Parasaurolophus. A para what? Tim asked in a whisper. A duck-billed dinosaur. Parasaurolophus. Why is he making that noise? He's probably lost and is calling for his mother. See if we'll eat some leaves. It might make him feel better. Don't feed the dinosaurs, the ticket girl had said. He never expected to get close enough to be able to, but then he never expected to get lost either. He picked some tender leaves and held them out. The dinosaur took a nervous step backwards, looking at Tim with big, moist eyes. Then very slowly he came closer and began nibbling. He was hungry. His eyes never left the boy. When he was done, he gave a soft bleat and backed away. Tim was amazed. Wow, I've never fed a dinosaur before. So here's him feeding the Parasaurolophus. And it's got like that duck bill, that long horn on top. Pretty cool. And Tim's feeding it. What a brave young man. The radio guy warned him, if we ever find his mother, don't try to feed her. Why not? Because she's taller than your house. When Tim walked out from under the trees, he looked back and saw the baby dinosaur following. He tried to shoo him away. Go on, go look for your mother. Don't follow me. I'm lost too. But the dinosaur stayed right behind, sometimes waddling along in his hind legs, sometimes hopping on all fours. After a while, Tim decided it was nice to have the company. He didn't feel quite so alone. They were walking beside some tall pine trees when something made a ferocious cawing sound. Caw-caw, caw-caw! Get down, shouted the radio guide. Tim barely had time to move as a brightly colored bird flew over his head and landed a few yards away. When he looked closer, he wasn't sure it was a bird at all. The creature had a head like a snake and pointed teeth, but he had feet like a bird and long, sharp claws that grew out of his wings. What kind of bird is that? Oh man, I gotta look this word up again. We got another big word. I'm so glad this pronunciation guide is here. So this is an Archaeopteryx. Archaeopteryx. So an Archaeopteryx, I guess you'd call him a dinosaur bird. The first bird-like animal that ever lived. They can't really fly. They climb trees and glide down like flying squirrels. Just then, another one of the crow-sized creatures sailed down, landing next to the first, and together they raced off, their brilliant feathers spread out, noisily chasing some small lizards for dinner. All right, so here's our Archaeopithecus bird, and with the other duck-billed dinosaur over there, and they're running off to get food. And looks like, oh, the baby dinosaur began to make a high whining sound and looked around nervously. Tim asked the radio guide about it. His nose is very sensitive. Maybe he smells something dangerous and is frightened. Well, I don't smell anything, but at that moment, the duckbill gave a terrified scream and set off running. Tim heard an awesome roar from very nearby, and suddenly everything seemed to happen at once. Run! Squawked the guide. Run! Crash, crunch, roar! The ground shook as a giant allosaur thundered through the trees. It immediately caught sight of the small boy and the little dinosaur. With a mighty leap and an ear-splitting howl, it came straight for them. Tim's heart was racing like mad. He'd never been so frightened in his life. Where do I run? So there's the giant allosaur, and there's Tim and the duck-billed dinosaur, and they're going to run for their lives. Follow the baby dinosaur. Instinctively, the baby knew the only chance was to get to Dinosaur C ahead of the allosaur. Tim ran like the wind, faster than he had ever run before. He looked over his shoulder and saw trees and brush crumble as the monstrous beast pounded after them. Could he possibly make it to safety? How could an animal so big run so fast? How much further did he have to go? He could feel the allosaur's breath hot on his neck. Jump! Shouted the guide as Tim launched himself over the rocks and fell into Dinosaur C with a loud splash. When he came up for air, he was looking into the face of the enraged allosaur. The carnivorous beast was furious at seeing his dinner just out of reach. His hisses and roars filled the air as he stomped back and forth. With the last futile try, the dinosaur leaned over the rocks and snapped his gaping jaws together. By accident, one of his long teeth hit the edge of a rock. With a loud snap, the tooth broke off, falling right into Tim's upraised hand. Holy cow. Guys, what do you think the dinosaur looks like, the allosaur? You saw the picture. Do you think the dinosaur looks anything like this? Ah! I'm the allosaur. Anytime I can get one of my cool masks in this show, I'm going to do it. That was actually Bossk from the Star Wars films. If you've seen Empire Strikes Back, you've seen Bossk. And actually, if you've seen The Mandalorian, you've seen Bossk and some of his family members and other people on the show. Anyway, with the spluttering radio clutch in his hand, the 8-inch long dinosaur tooth in the other, Tim was having a difficult time swimming. The Parasaurolophus, meanwhile, was doing much better, so Tim reached out and put an arm around his long neck. The baby didn't seem to mind helping the boy at all. He just quacked and towed Tim along. They were swimming parallel to the shoreline, looking for a safe place to land when a dark gray and blue shape exploded out of the water right next to them. The baby dinosaur kept right on swimming, paying no attention to the commotion. What in the world was that? Tim wasn't ready for another surprise so soon. The radio crackled to life. Oh, we gotta grab the radio. I'm surprised it's like not ruined with all this water. An ichthyosaur, very much like a modern dolphin, only bigger. This particular one was about 30 feet long. He surfaced next to Tim and seemed friendly and curious. He gave a whistling cry and splashed the boy and the small dinosaur playfully before diving deep into the water. All right, so there we go. Here's our ichthyosaur. And Tim is getting away with his buddy. Just when Tim began to think the ichthyosaur had left them, the ocean erupted like a giant fountain, and the powerful creature leaped high out of the sea once again, sending water spraying all around, shimmering like a rainbow in the sunlight. Tim laughed out loud. Finally, the boy and the dinosaur emerged on a sandy beach far away from the roaring allosaur. Tim put the tooth in his pants pocket. Now that we're in the Cretaceous area, the radio said, there's a big chance Tyrannosaurus Rex himself could show up. We better get out of here. Just then the baby gave another loud squeal. Oh no, not again. Tim was getting ready to dive back in the ocean when he looked up and saw a much larger Parasaurolophus coming out of the trees. Must be his mother, said the radio guide. Better stay out of the way. The huge duck-billed dinosaur, big as a bus, and with a horn more than 6 feet long curving over her head, bent down and began nuzzling her baby and honking. Then together they turned and waddled into the forest and were lost to sight. So that means the dinosaur's got a horn on its head that's as tall as me. That's ridiculous, guys. Tim waved and felt like he was saying goodbye to a friend. Now he was alone again. He dug through his soggy survival kit, finally coming up with an old chocolate bar. He peeled the damp wrapper and began chewing. Soon, feeling a little better, he set off once more down the tracks of the T-Rex Express. Why hasn't anyone found me yet? He asked the radio guy. I don't know. They should be here any time now. Ahead, the Cretaceous forest became even thicker. Swamp cypress and fir trees grew up to the water's edge, and Tim noticed colorful flowers here and there. Herons perched on spindly legs in the shallow water, ducks swam nearby, and a flock of gulls flew overhead. All of a sudden, from out of the trees ahead came another huge creature. Not another hungry meat eater. Tim was just too tired to run and hide. But wait a minute, what kind of dinosaur was this? When it roared, steam actually came out of its nostrils. Tim stopped and stared as the monster came at him. The radio snapped and popped some more and said, "It's a zzz." So here's the dinosaurs. They're leaving. Mom and child. All right. And what did you say? Asked Tim. The radio crackled again. I saw it. It's about time. Tim looked more carefully and saw that the monster bearing down on them was really just the front of the T-Rex Express. Someone had finally come to get him. He sighed tiredly. Ugh, my folks would be so relieved to see me again. A few minutes later, he was back on Mesozoic Mesa. The first thing he saw was his father munching happily on a hot dog. Then he saw Mary standing at the nursery window and his mother looking over the fence at the babies in the petting zoo. Tim was amazed. They didn't even know he'd been gone. They didn't know a thing about his adventure. He couldn't believe it. Mr. McDunn put an arm around his son's shoulder. So, was your super tour everything you wanted? Did you get to see any animals up close? Tell me all about it. As they walked back to the parking lot, the roars and growls of the wild animals filled the air behind them. The T-Rex Express whistle sounded. Another trainload of passengers was getting off, each visitor about to experience his or her own special adventure in Dinosaur World. Would Tim's family ever believe his adventure? Then he felt the sharp point of the allosaur tooth safe in his pocket, and he smiled. And there's Mr. Allosaur. The end. That was Lost in Dinosaur World. That was a long story. I hope maybe it was broken up into a couple parts, maybe not. We are doing good because Mr. Olaf did not interrupt, but I feel like Mr. Olaf is going to come knocking right about now. Okay, let's get ready to entertain Mr. Olaf. Here's Mr. Olaf. Hi, Mr. Olaf. How are you? What are you doing here today? Oh, really? Interesting. Well, you missed the story, but I'm glad you didn't interrupt. We just read about dinosaurs. I hope the children liked it. And we also met Mr. Shoe's friend, Rockin' Ralph. Do you know Rockin' Ralph? Oh, no. Rockin' Ralph doesn't play the trombone. He plays the guitar and sometimes the drums and a little bit of bass. He's a rocker, rocker, heavy metal. He doesn't play jazz band. No, not really his thing. Nope. Anyway, so you don't know Rockin' Ralph. Well, that's good. He kind of looks like me. He's got a beard. He always wears these sunglasses, and he's got blonde, like longish blonde hair. But Mr. Olaf, I want to be honest with you. I think it's a wig. I don't think that's his real hair. I think he's probably kind of bald, actually. But I didn't want to tell him that. I wanted to be nice. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, you gotta run. Well, say goodbye to the kids. Alrighty, Mr. Olaf, he's gonna leave now. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Mr. Shoes Reading Storybooks Online, and I am gonna eat my dinner. I'm gonna drink my Kool-Aid with Mr. Shoes glass. you can see that. We got some light issues here. You probably can't see that very well. And I think, oh, what do we got today? I think I'm going to have a can of peas. And, oh, I'm going to put a little hot sauce on that. Some Tabasco. Yum, nothing like hot sauce on peas. I got a little Fruitopia juice. Pour that in my glass. And maybe I'll have a box of Wheaties. They're even better than Wheaties. Wheaties. All right, guys. I had a blast with you. Sorry it's been so long between radio shows, between storybook shows online. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you guys in the halls. Say hello if you like the story, and let me know if you got any suggestions. I'm all for it. So, all right, guys, bye.